Good morning, friends. This is our third lecture about current electricity. Now, in previous lectures, we have discussed about Kirchhoff's law of junction and potential difference. That is very important laws. We are already discussed descriptively in our previous lecture, that is first lecture. And due to second lecture, we have discussed the same, what is Wheatstone's network, what is the use of Wheatstone's network, and definitely we find out the unknown resistance by using meter bridge. So that is very important concept we have discussed for the previous lecture. So when we discuss about meter bridge, so we find out the unknown resistance by using simple formula, capital X divided by R, this is equal to Lx upon Lr. So that is very important formula. We find out the unknown resistance of a given wire and by using meter bridge. So we know that very well meter bridge is the modification of Wheatstone's network. It consists of a long 1 meter wire having uniform cross section, and this wire is stretched on the rectangular wooden board on the meter scale. And then after we get 2 points, that is first point of the wire and the second point of the wire is indicate that the point A and C. And at the point of A and C, we can arrange two L-shaped metal strips and one another the central metal strip, and with the help of this central metal strip, we have two gaps, that is left gap in the meter bridge and the right gap. So after that, we are connected a cell of EMF E key and the rheostat in series between the point AC. So after that, we know that the unknown resistance is connected in left gap and the resistance box is connected in right gap, and the central tab, that is central point B, is connected to the galvanometer and the another end of galvanometer is connected to the jockey. That is very simple arrangement we have discussed in previous lecture. That is the arrangement, that is the circuital diagram of the Wheatstone's network, that is meter bridge, and with the help of this we find out the unknown resistance. But today we have discussed one another very important application of Wheatstone's network, that is meter bridge. So that is a very important concept, remaining concept according to this meter bridge. So we find out the unknown resistance of galvanometer. That is very important by using Kelvin's method. So let's discuss first of all, this is last application for meter bridge. So Kelvin's method to determine the unknown resistance of galvanometer. Okay, so let's discuss the Kelvin's method. Let's see here. Kelvin's method to determine, okay, it is very easy to determine the unknown resistance of a galvanometer. Okay, so to determine the unknown resistance of a galvanometer by using meter bridge. So how to determine, how to find out unknown resistance by using meter bridge of galvanometer? So let's say the same construction we can perform here. So we can get the rectangular wooden board, and exactly on the rectangular wooden board, so we can fix the meter scale, and exactly on the meter scale now we are arrange a wire AC. Okay, so this is first end of the wire, that is A, and this is second end of the wire, that is C. So this is wire AC, 1 meter length and having uniform cross section. Okay, and whose resistance will be denoted by R, imagine that. So this wire AC is fixed on the meter scale and they arrange on the rectangular wooden board. So at the point of A, so we can fix, there are one metal strip, this is L-shaped metal strip, and this L-shaped metal strip will arrange at the point of A, and exactly at the same metal strip we can arrange at the point of C. Okay, let's consider here, this is the point C, there are two L-shaped metal strips we can fix at the point of A and at the point of C, and we can arrange one another central metal strip here. This central metal strip will be fixed here, and through the central metal strip we know that we find out two gaps, that is left gap and this is right gap. Okay, so after that it is very important. So between the point AC, so now there is the cell of EMF E. Okay, this is cell. Then after key is represent K, and the very important, the rheostates, okay, RH, that is rheostat, are connected in series between the wire AC. So in the left gap, so we are connected the galvanometer. So we can fix the galvanometer in the left gap, whose resistance will be denoted by G. So G is the resistance of galvanometer, and we affix the resistance box on the right gap. So this is denoted by RB. So this is known resistance. Imagine that whose resistance will be denoted by R. This is the central metal strip. They are having point B, that is ABC. So at the point of B, we are connected the jockey. Jockey is the slided key without friction. So slided key will be connected here, that is jockey, will be denoted by J. So this is the circuital arrangement, how to determine the unknown resistance of a galvanometer, so by using meter bridge. Let's imagine that the working of the given circuit. Let's see the circuit will be closed. It means key will be closed. When the key closed, so electric current I is passing through the wire AC. And when the current I passing through the wire AC, so then after note down the deflection of galvanometer. When the key will be closed, so directly note down the deflection of galvanometer. Okay, so we are observe the same. We find out the deflection of galvanometer is exactly in one direction when the key will be closed. Let's see here. Imagine that this is the center of galvanometer, and in the left side and in the right side they are having a scale 10, 20, 30. Now here also 10, 20, 30. Okay, this is the scale of galvanometer, whose center will be denoted by here, and this is the pointer of the galvanometer. Okay, let's imagine that when the key will be closed and we are observe the same, the deflection of the galvanometer in one side. Okay, so actually it is very important to know that it is not a null deflection method. Kelvin's method is not a null deflection method, it is equal deflection method. Okay, it is equal deflection method, and we find out the balancing point. We cannot find out null point. Okay, so in previous lecture we had discussed about meter bridge, and we find out the unknown resistance by using null deflection method. But actually Kelvin's method is not a null deflection method, it is equal deflection method right now. So we find out equal deflection. So let's see here, if the key will be closed, we are observe the same, the deflection of galvanometer in one direction. Okay, so after that, to adjust the rheostat, okay, if we can adjust the rheostat, we can get the suitable deflection of galvanometer. It means near about 2/3 deflection will be reverse, that type. Imagine that the deflection will be reverse here. Okay, we can take the suitable deflection of the galvanometer. Okay, and after that we can giving a suitable resistance in the resistance box. So when we take the suitable resistance in the resistance box, so then after we can touch the jockey at the point of A, and after that we can touch the jockey after that point C. So we are observe the same, this deflection of galvanometer is exactly opposite. Okay, the deflection of galvanometer is exactly opposite when the jockey touches at the point of near to the point A and near to the point of C. And after that this jockey slided on the wire AC. Okay, and when the jockey slided on the wire AC and reaches exactly at the point of D, when the jockey touches exactly at the point of D, it is very important. So imagine that this deflection is exactly reversed as a previous position. this deflection will be reversed. When the jockey touches at the point of D, let's consider that this galvanometer cannot show deflection here and there. They cannot be deflected. They becomes at rest. Right now, at the previous position where we can adjust the rheostat and there near about 2/3 deflection will be reversed. We can take the suitable deflection and this deflection becomes as it is. They cannot moving here and there when the jockey touches at the point of D. So this point is called equal deflection method. This point is equal deflected point, and this method is called equal deflecting method right now. So when the jockey touches at the point D, so we can find out the equal deflection point. And let's see the distance between AD. So this distance will be denoted by LG, okay, and remaining DC will be denoted by LR. So LG is the resistance of the wire. Imagine that the length of wire AD, whose resistance will be denoted by LG, and DC is the length of wire whose resistance will be denoted by LR. So LG is the resistance, LR is the resistance. Now we find out the unknown resistance of galvanometer. This is our resistance G. The resistance box whose the resistance will be R. So we get 4 resistance G, R, LG and LR. Okay. So we know that as per the balancing condition of network, we know that very well. When we find out 3 known resistance, so easily we have calculated the 4th unknown resistance. Let's see here, we can take the suitable resistance for the resistance box. It means we get their value. What is actual value of R? Now when the jockey touches at the point of D, now this wire is exactly on the meter scale. It means that by using meter scale, we are easily measure the distance AD. So distance AD means what? LG. And remaining distance, that is DC, is also measured with the same meter scale, that is LR. It means that R, LG and LR, these 3 resistance we are measured easily. This is known resistance. It means remaining resistance of galvanometer we can measure easily by using the balancing condition of the network. Okay, and we know that this balancing condition of network will be denoted by G upon R. Okay, G upon R, this is equal to 3rd and 4th resistance right now divided by the 3rd and 4th resistance. So this is LG. What is LG? The resistance of wire. What is this? The resistance of wire AD. Okay, resistance of wire AD of length LG. Okay, and whole divided by second, the resistance of wire, what is remaining DC of length, what is length? LR. Okay, so we find out G upon R, this is equal to resistance of wire AD of length LG. Okay, let's see. AD is the wire and whose resistance will be denoted by LG. You get it? So it means that we find out resistance and according to their length. You get it? So it means that we find out resistance per unit length, and resistance per unit length of the wire AD, this is denoted by LG. So whose resistance per unit length will be denoted by sigma. So we find out sigma into LG. And the same concept is here, resistance per unit length, that is sigma of the given wire, and this is denoted by LR. Okay, so it means that we can find out LG upon LR. Okay, so G upon R is equal to LG upon LR. So it means that we find out G. So G is equal to R into LG upon LR. Okay, so let's imagine that this AC is the 1 meter long wire and they fix on the meter scale. Right now it means that meter scale having 100 centimeter length. So if imagine that AD is 40, so automatically we find out DC. So 100 minus AD, that is DC. Okay, so it means by using this concept we find out the G. So G is equal to R into LG. And what is LR? So LR is the 100 minus LG. Okay, so imagine that LG is 30. Okay, so 100 minus LG. So 100 minus 30. So definitely we find out LR. LR is 70. Actually, the same formula we can use to find out the unknown resistance of the galvanometer. Okay, so G is equal to R upon LG upon 100 minus LG. So we take only one reading, and with the help of this, theoretically we find out the value of G mathematically. But when we find out the accurate resistance, so to reverse the process, to alter the galvanometer and resistance box their positions and take the same readings, and to find out the unknown resistance of galvanometer G when comparing when the galvanometer is connected in left gap and after that they connected in right gap, when this comparing these two readings, so we can easily find out their mean, and with the help of this we find out G, that is unknown resistance of galvanometer. G is equal to R into Lg upon 100 minus Lg. So by using this formula we are easily determine the unknown resistance of galvanometer. Okay, so I hope to understand. This is very easy and simple concept how to find out the unknown resistance of galvanometer. Okay, so we can revise once again. Let's see the third and very important concept from this chapter, that is potentiometer. So this is very important concept. So potentiometer, what is meant by potentiometer? So initially it is very important to know that potentiometer is a device, and by using this we are measure the potential difference. So we know that very well, this potential difference we are measured with the help of one another important device, that is voltmeter. So by using voltmeter we are measure the potential difference between any 2 points on the given circuit, and also we are measure the potential difference by using potentiometer. So initially it is very important to know that what is the difference between potentiometer and voltmeter. Actually both are used the measure the potential difference between 2 points in the given circuit. So let's remember this. First of all we are discuss about voltmeter. So just imagine that if a voltmeter, this is a voltmeter, imagine, and this voltmeter V is connected to the circuit. Imagine that this is any one circuit. Okay, this is any one circuit here, and if the voltmeter is unconnected to the circuit, so definitely we are measure the potential difference between 2 points easily. But actually we know that this potentiometer is the device, and if we consider the device, they definitely having some resistance. Okay, and with the help of this, if we measure the potential difference between 2 points, they add some resistance between this potential difference. Okay, it means that they draw some electric current through the circuit, and then after to give the potential difference between 2 points. It means that it is not more accurate when we measure the potential difference between 2 points. Actually, when the voltmeter is directly connected to the circuit, so this voltmeter taking reading, the giving potential difference when the circuit is closed and electric current I passing through the circuit. It means that voltmeter totally operate with the help of electric current, and when they operate through the electric current, it means that definitely they added some resistance when they connected to the circuit, and definitely we find out the potential difference between 2 points through the adding resistance. So it means that we do not find proper reading because they draw some electric current through the circuit. It is simple drawback of voltmeter. But if the potentiometer is directly connected through the circuit, okay, and if we measure the potential difference between 2 points, so potentiometer cannot draw any electric current, cannot add any resistance through the circuit. So that's why potentiometer is the ideal voltmeter. Okay, it is very important. Potentiometer is the ideal voltmeter, and which is used for the accurate measurement of potential difference. It is very important. Okay, and it is a very simple difference between voltmeter and potentiometer. Okay, so let's continue the same point, that is potentiometer, and initially we have discussed the principle of potentiometer, and with the help of principle, so we have discussed their uses. Okay, so let's start at the principle of potentiometer. Okay, so I can rub this. Let's see the principle of potentiometer. So principle of potentiometer. Okay, that is very important point because their total applications are depends upon that point, principle of potentiometer, and it is very easy to understand. So what is actual concept of potentiometer and how they work? So actually potentiometer, it consists of a long uniform cross-sectional wire, a long wire near about 2 to 10 meter long wire. Okay, and let's imagine that this wire will be denoted by AB. So let's consider that this AB is the wire and this is very long wire, near about 2 to 10 meter long wire, and this wire is divided into the number of segments. Okay, this wire will be folded and divided into the number of segments and each of length 100 centimeter. Okay, so let's imagine that this is AB is the wire that is potentiometer wire, near about 4 meter long. Imagine that actually potentiometer having 2 to 10 meter long. It is a very long wire and having uniform cross section. So imagine that this wire AB is divided into the number of segments. So let's see here. So imagine that this is our point A, okay, and this wire, very long wire AB, is divided into the number of segments, that type. So this is our first, second segment, then after this is third segment, and after that this is fourth segment. Okay, the same wire AB, so this is first point of wire A and this is the second point of the wire, that is B. AB is the wire. This is a long wire, near about 2 to 10 meter long, and this wire is divided into the number of segments and each of length is 100 centimeter. It means that the distance between A to last end of the wire, that is 100 centimeter. It means 100, 200, 300 and 400. It means that 4 meter long wire AB is fixed on the rectangular wooden board. Okay, and exactly on the same rectangular wooden board, a meter scale is fixed parallel to the wire AB. So let's observe here the first point A and last point of the wire will be B. Now this point A of the wire is connected to the cell, okay, and this cell will be represent epsilon according to textbook. So that is positive terminal and this is the negative terminal, whose internal resistance will be denoted by R. Okay, imagine that this very small r is the internal resistance of the cell. Actually, we know that in last year we are already discussed the same. Now the cell having their internal resistance, because in internal resistance there are two plates we are observe the same, and charge will be moving from positive to negative. Okay, and when the charge will moving from positive to negative, the cell having an internal resistance when the charges will be moving, whose internal resistance will be denoted by R. It is very small right now, whose internal resistance will be denoted by R here, and many times here the rheostat will be connected, but it is not necessary to rheostat will be connected between the point AB. So this B point will be connected directly here. Okay, this is the simple circuital diagram of potentiometer. So actually potentiometer is just a wire. Okay, it is a very long wire, near about 2 to 10 meter long, and we are observe the same. They divide it into the number of segments, each of length 100 centimeter. So what is their principle? It is very important. What is their principle? So let's discuss about principle. So imagine that this total wire AB, whose length will be denoted by capital L. So capital L is the length of the potentiometer wire, and whose total potential will be denoted by VAB. So VAB is the potential, that is potential difference of the wire AB, so which is denoted by VAB, and their total length of the wire AB will be denoted by capital L. Okay, so after that, first of all we find out when the electric current passing through the given circuit. So how many amount of electric current passing through the wire AB? So this electric current initially we are determined, so by using this given circuit. Actually we know that by using Ohm's law, we know that we are easily determine the electric current, because Ohm's law V is equal to IR. Okay, so let's we find out the electric current by using this. Electric current will be denoted by I. So how many quantity of electric current passing through the given wire AB? So I is equal to, we find out V upon R. So by using Ohm's law, we find out electric current I is equal to V upon R. So imagine that this cell of resistance is denoted by R. V is the total potential between the wire AB. Okay, so if we consider AB is the wire right now and electric current passing through the wire AB, so their total potential will be denoted by V. So here potential will be denoted by epsilon, because this potential is provided through the cell right now. So it means that this is denoted by epsilon. epsilon is the total potential, and divided by resistance. So resistance of the wire will be denoted by R, and it is a very small amount of resistance, that is internal resistance, whose value will be denoted by small r. So the total resistance of the wire will be denoted by R plus R, and their potential will be denoted by epsilon. So it means that I is equal to epsilon upon R plus R. So this value of electric current is passing through the wire AB. And when the total amount of electric current passing through the wire AB, so definitely we find out their potential by using the same concept, V is equal to IR. So the total potential will be denoted by VAB. The total potential between the wire AB, so this is denoted by VAB. So VAB is equal to, we know that IR. VAB is equal to what? IR. But we are already determined epsilon upon R plus R. So it means that the total potential difference between the wire AB is equal to, we find out I is equal to what? Epsilon upon R plus R into what? This capital R. So we can write here capital R. So this equation is represents the total potential between the wire AB. So total potential VAB is equal to epsilon R upon R plus R. And after that, what is their total potential between the length of the wire AB? So what is their total potential passing through the total length of the wire AB? So it means that after that we are measure their total potential per unit length of the given wire. So total potential of the wire will be denoted by VAB, okay, and the total length of the given wire will be denoted by capital L. So wire AB having length capital L, so their total potential difference between the wire AB will be denoted by VAB. So their potential per unit length will be denoted by VAB divided by L. So what is equal? So equal to VAB. So VAB we are determined here. VAB is indicate that epsilon R and whole divided by, so this is L and R plus R. So what is this? This is the potential per unit length of the given wire. And actually we know that this potential per unit length of the given wire, what is meant by potential per unit length? So but then before, so total length of the given wire will be denoted by capital L, and that is fixed. It will be constant. It cannot be changed. So if the length will be fixed, so their potential is also fixed. It means that VAB upon L, this is potential per unit length, is also constant by using this circuit. Okay, VAB upon L, that is potential per unit length, is also constant, and which is indicate that K. Okay, so it means that the potential per unit length is equal to K. So what is meant by potential per unit length? So between the total length, how many potential will passing? So what is the potential in a particular length? So potential per unit length is equal to K. So this K is the constant, and this is called potential gradient. Okay, this is called potential gradient. Gradient means what? Per unit length. What is the potential per unit length? Actually the same concept of gradient we are already discussed in the concept of velocity. You know the velocity gradient. It means that velocity per unit length. Per unit length, that is gradient. What is the potential per unit length? That is potential gradient. Okay, so we find out VAB upon L is equal to K. So K is the potential gradient, and this is constant. So it means that by using this expression, it is very clear that the total potential difference is equal to the K into L. Okay, so it means that potential difference AB is directly proportional to their original length L. Okay, it is a concept. But just after that, imagine any one point on the wire. Okay, let's see here any one point on the wire, and this point will be denoted by C. The same concept will be here. The same point will be denoted by C. Actually, the wire AB is exactly similar here. This is a straight wire, and the same wire will be divided into the number of segments here. Okay, so let's imagine any one point C on the potentiometer wire. So the length of AC will be denoted by small l. The same length will be represented here. Okay, so what is the total potential difference between the wire AC? So their potential will be denoted by VAC. So total wire VAB. So their potential VAB. So here wire will be denoted by AC. This is a one portion, one segment of the wire AC. So their potential will be denoted by VAC and their length will be denoted by small l. So as per the concept, so we find out the potential difference between the wire AC, that is VAC, and this VAC is equal to what? K into the length, and here length will be denoted by small l. So it means that VAC is directly proportional to the small l. So this is very easy, the principle of potentiometer. And let's see what is the actual meaning of VAC is directly proportional to L. So let's see here. VAC means what? It is a length, it is a portion of the given wire AB, and this portion will be denoted by AC. Okay, whose potential will be denoted by VAC? Their potential difference between 2 points will be denoted by VAC. Okay, this potential difference between any 2 points on the potentiometer wire is directly proportional to the length of the same portion, length of the same segment. So this is the principle of potentiometer. Let's see, it is very easy to understand. The potential difference between any 2 points, any portion, any segment of the potentiometer wire is directly proportional to the length of the same portion, length of the same segment, length of the same 2 points on the wire AB, sorry. Okay, so this is very easy to understand the principle of potentiometer. Okay, what is the statement of principle of potentiometer? So potential difference between any 2 points. Okay, let's see once again the potential difference, that is potential difference between wire AC. This is denoted by VAC. Okay, so this potential difference between any 2 points on the wire is directly proportional to the length of the same points. That is VAC is directly proportional to L. So it is very easy principle of potentiometer. Okay, so it is very easy to understand the principle of potentiometer. So potential gradient is equal to constant. Okay, potential gradient is equal to constant means what? Potential per unit length is constant. It means that potential is directly proportional to the length. It is very easy statement for the principle of potentiometer. Okay, VAC is directly proportional. Now we are discuss the use of potentiometer. Use of potentiometer. Okay, so their first use to compare the EMF of two cells. Okay, to compare the EMF of two cells by using potentiometer. This is first very important use of potentiometer. So let's discuss what is actual to compare the EMF of two cell by using potentiometer. So actually we know that potentiometer, it consists of a long wire, and this wire is divided into the number of segments. So let's see the segment of the given wire. So this is first segment, this is second, third, and imagine that fourth. This wire is divided into the number of segments. There are 4 segments, and we know that this first end and this is the second end of the wire. So this first and second end of the wire will be denoted by A, and the second will be denoted by, that is, B. So AB is the wire. Now, so the terminal A point here, this point is connected to the cell. Okay, imagine that this is cell, and key and the rheostat. So between the wire AB, the cell of EMF E, their key and rheostat are connected in series. Okay, so through the terminal A, now we are connected 2 wires. Okay, we are connected 2 wires. Let's see that type. Okay, that type. There are two wires. The first wire is connected to the positive terminal of cell, and the second wire is also connected to the positive terminal of cell. Okay, so this first cell will be denoted by E1 and the second cell will be denoted by E2. Okay, let's see the positive terminal of cell E1 and E2 are connected to the point A. Now their negative terminals of cell E1 and E2 are connected to the key. So this is one way key. This is denoted by K1, and let's see, this is K2. So K1 and K2, and their common terminal will be connected to the galvanometer, whose resistance will be denoted by G, and another end of galvanometer is connected to the jockey. Okay, so this is denoted by J. So this is the very easy circuit diagram for when we compare the EMF of two cells by using potentiometer. Let's see the diagram. So AB is the potentiometer wire of length capital L. So between the wire AB, so their cell of EMF E, key and rheostat are connected in series. So through the same point A, now we are connected two wires. The first wire is connected to the positive terminal of cell E1 and the second wire is connected to the positive terminal of cell E2. So E1 and E2, their common positive terminals are connected through the point A. Their negative terminals of cell E1 and E2 is connected to the first end of key, that is K1 and K2, and their common terminal of keys K1 and K2 are connected to the first end of galvanometer, and the another end of galvanometer is connected to the jockey. This is very easy and simple construction of potentiometer when we compare the EMF of two cell. And first of all, it is very important to note that this potentiometer, this used is actually, it is a null deflection method. We compare the EMF of two cell by using null deflection method, and null deflection method we are already discussed according to the concept of meter bridge. So that is why it is very easy to understand when we find out the null point. Let's imagine that there are two important cases, there are two important factors are very important when we compare the EMF of two cells, that is E1 and E2. So in the first condition, that is very important. In first condition, it is very important. Let's see. Imagine that the main key will be closed. Okay. And here only E1 will be closed. Okay. E1 will be closed and E2 get open. Sorry. This K1 will be closed and K2 get open. So initially the main key and K1 will be closed and K2 get open. So what happened when the K2 get open? So actually when this main key will be closed, electric current I passing through the circuit. And when this electric current I passing through the given circuit, we are observe the same. This electric current only passing through the cell E1. But this electric current cannot passing through the cell E2. It means that when the key K1 will be closed and K2 get opened, so E1 is on the circuit and E2 get out of the circuit. It is very important, the first case. And first case, the K and K1, that is two key will be closed and K2 get open. So it means that E1 is on the circuit and E2 get out of the circuit. And what happened exactly at the K1 is closed? So then after jockey touches at the near point of A and at the point of B, and observe the same, the deflection of galvanometer is exactly opposite. And we know that very well, when the deflection of galvanometer is opposite, when the jockey touches at the point of A and B, so simply when the jockey slided on the wire AB and when the jockey reaches at the point of, imagine that C, okay, when the jockey touches at the point of C, so we are observe the same, we find out the null deflection point, that is zero deflection on the galvanometer when the jockey touches at the point of C. Actually, we know that when the jockey touches near to the point of A and near to the point of B, so we are observe the same, the deflection of galvanometer is exactly opposite. It means that when the jockey touches between the wire AB, so we find out the null point. Okay, and exactly similar we are consider when the jockey touches at the point of C. We are observe the same, galvanometer cannot shows any deflection. It means that we find out the null point between the wire AC. So if we find out the null deflection between the wire AC, so their potential will be denoted by E1. Okay, so their potential will be denoted by E1, and according to the principle of potentiometer, we know that very well, their total potential between the wire AC is directly proportional to the length of the portion AC, and imagine that whose length will be denoted by L1. So wire AC whose length will be denoted by L1. You get it? The total length of the wire AB will be denoted by capital L, and the length of wire AC will be denoted by L1, and their potential will be denoted by E1. Actually, electric current passing through the only E1, so their potential will be denoted by E1. So E1 is directly proportional to L1. It means that E1 is equal to K into L1. So this is our equation number 1. So this is the potential between any 2 points of the wire is directly proportional to the length of the same points. Okay. So after that, the second important condition in the given circuit. So between this second concept, now the main key will be closed and K2 get closed and K1 is open. So what happened? The K1 is open. Let's observe the same. When the main key will be closed, electric current I passing through the given circuit, and when the electric current passing through the given circuit, we are observe the same, K1 is open. It means that electric current does not passing through the cell E1, they only passing through the E2. It means E1 get out of the circuit and E2 is connected in the given circuit. And again, jockey touches at the point of A and B and observe the deflection of galvanometer, and we are observe the same, the deflection of galvanometer is exactly opposite. So again, touches the jockey at different points on the potentiometer wire AB, and imagine that when the jockey touches at the point of D, okay, so we again find out the null point. The circuit will be totally balanced. We find out null point when the jockey touches at the point of D. So their total potential of the wire AD is denoted by E2. Okay, and whose length will be denoted by L2, the length of wire AD. It is very important between this first concept, the wire AC. Okay, so whose length will be denoted by L1, and here the wire AD whose length will be denoted by L2. So by using the principle of potentiometer, so their potential will be denoted by E2. This potential is directly proportional to the length of the same portion, that is E2 is directly proportional to L2. It means that the E2 is equal to K into L2. So call this equation number 2nd. In the first case, we find out the equation number 1 and 2nd, and we find out the two equations, that is two cells E1 and E2. So this is equal to KL1 and this is equal to KL2. So dividing equation 1 by 2, when we dividing equation 1 by 2, simply we compare the EMF of two cells. So we can divide here. So therefore E1 divided by E2, so this is equal to the first equation, that is KL1 divided by KL2. So KK get cancelled here, so remaining E1 divided by E2, and this is equal to L1 divided by L2. So we know that L1 and L2 we are measure through the meter scale, because due to the principle we have discussed the same, when the potentiometer wire AB is divided into the number of segments and they fix on the rectangular wooden board, so meter scale is arranged exactly parallel to the same portion, same wire AB. So it means that by using this meter scale, we are easily measure what is the length of L1 and L2. And if we find out L1 and L2, simply the two cells, that is E1 and E2, we are easily compare. Okay, so this is first important method to compare the EMF of two cells. Okay, so let's continue with the second method. Second, and this second method is sum and difference method. Okay, so the first method we have discussed previously, and after that we have discussed second method to compare the EMF of two cell. So first of all we have draw the circuit, and with the help of circuit, So we are compare the EMF of two cells. Okay, so let's continue here. So we are giving a potentiometer wire, and we know that this potentiometer wire, it is a very long wire having uniform cross sectional area near about 2 to 10 meter long, and they divide it into the number of segments and each of length 100 centimeter. Okay, the same wire we can draw here. So imagine that this is potentiometer wire, and this potentiometer wire is divided into the number of segments. So this is the segment of the given wire. Okay, so this first end of the wire will be denoted by A, and that is second end of the wire, and the second end of the wire will be denoted by B. So we know that between the wire AB, so we are connected the cell of EMF, that is denoted by epsilon. This is positive terminal and the negative terminal of cell. Key, so this is denoted by K, and we know that the rheostat, so they are connected in series between the terminal AB. So AB is the potentiometer wire, and between the wire AB we are connected the cell of EMF epsilon, key, and rheostat. So rheostat will be denoted by RH. So they are connected in series between the wire AB. But one another circuit is connected between the terminal A and the galvanometer. So we can draw these terminals. So we are connected one wire through the terminal A, and which is connected to the positive terminal of cell, and this is denoted by epsilon 1. So this is positive and negative terminal. So this cell epsilon 1 is connected to the 4 terminal key. It is very important. So now here we are connected the 4 terminal key. Okay, so this terminal key we are connected one another cell, and this is denoted by epsilon 2. Okay, they are connected together through the 4 terminal key, and their one another end of 4 terminal key is connected to the galvanometer, whose resistance will be denoted by G, and another end of galvanometer is connected to the jockey. Okay, so this is denoted by J. Okay, this is the complete circuit. So we are connected the keys here. So this is first key. There are 4 terminal keys are here. Okay, and these keys will be denoted by like K1, K2, K3, and that is K4. There are 4 terminal keys. So let's see, this is a complete circuit. With the help of second method, we are compare the EMF of two cells by using sum and difference method. So this is our regular circuit. This is a potentiometer wire, and there are one another circuit is connected between the A and the galvanometer. So there are 2 cells, that is EMF epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 will be connected here through the 4 terminal key. 4 terminal key, that is having 4 keys, and which is denoted by K1, K2, K3 and K4. So this is a complete circuit. Okay, so how to work the circuit and how to compare the EMF of two cell by using sum and difference method. So these 2 methods we are discuss here. What is sum method and what is difference method? So first of all we are discuss sum method. Okay, so what is sum method? What is actual condition when we discuss about sum method? So let's see here. Initially imagine that the main key will be closed. Okay, the main key will be closed, and it is very important, when the main key will be closed, the electric current I is passing through the circuit. And when the electric current I passing through the circuit, so after that, just imagine that the first key K1, let's see, this key K1 and K3 is closed, but K2 and K4 get open. You listen very carefully. Now the main key will be closed, and here key K1 and K3 will be closed, but K2 and K4 opposite keys are open. And what happens when the keys K1 and K3 will be closed? Now actually their main key is also closed, and through the main key electric current passing through the circuit. Let's see the direction of electric current. So electric current here passing through the positive terminal of cell epsilon 1 to the negative terminal. Okay, so we can draw this condition here. So this is the direction of electric current. This electric current is passing through the cell epsilon 1 from positive to negative terminal. This is the direction. Okay, and after that this current will be reaches here. Okay, and after that see this electric current moving through the key K1, because K4 get open, it means there is no any electric current passing through them. So electric current directly passing towards the cell E2. You get it, epsilon E2. They will be moving here and directly reaches to the positive terminal of cell epsilon 2. Current cannot passing here because K2 get open. Okay, it is very important. So it means that the second EMF will be connected here from positive to negative. So this is denoted by epsilon 2, and after that they directly connected through the galvanometer. Okay, so that type. Let's see here the direction of electric current from positive to negative for cell epsilon 1, and the same condition is here from positive to negative of cell epsilon 2, and the directly electric current will be reaches here. Let's see this arrangement. It shows that these two wires cannot connected, they moving overlap with each other. Okay, they overlap directly, they do not connected. So this electric current will be moving here. Let's see, and they directly reaches, this is the direction, they reaches here. They cannot moving here because this key will be open and this K3 will be closed. So that's why directly electric current moving through the galvanometer, and galvanometer shows deflection. Okay, so what happen when the main key will be closed, and exactly at the same condition K1 and K3 will be closed and K2 and K4 will be open. So when K1 and K3 will be closed, now these two cells epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 is assist with each other. Okay, so these two cells are assist with each other. It means that the direction of electric current passing through the cell epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 is same. The same direction of electric current will be passing. In another word, let's see here, the positive terminal of first cell epsilon 1 is connected to the negative terminal of the cell epsilon 2. So it means that this cell epsilon 1 and another cell epsilon 2 are added together. Okay, their potentials will be added. Okay, because this cell epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 will be assist with each other. Assist means what? The direction of electric current passing between two cells are exactly similar direction. So it means that these two cells having EMF epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 are adding together. Okay, so this method is called sum method, because here they moving electric current in same direction, they assist together. So their potential will be denoted by epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2. Their potentials are added. Okay, and after that we know that the galvanometer shows deflection, and when the galvanometer shows deflection and jockey touches near to the point A and B, we are observe the same, the deflection of galvanometer is exactly opposite. So after that, now slide the jockey for different points on the wire AB, and when the jockey touches at the point C, so we are observe the null point. So if we find out the null point, it means that galvanometer does not shows any deflection when the jockey touches at the point of C. So it is very clear to understand. So we find out the null point, and when we find out the null point, so their total potential between the wire AC, so this potential will be denoted by VAC, and their length will be denoted by small l, that is L1. Their length will be denoted by L1. And as per the principle, we know that this total potential is directly proportional to the length of the same portion, but their potential will be added because the cell epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 will be assist with each other, they adding together. So their potential will be denoted by epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2. So this is equal to K into L1. So this is the principle of potentiometer. So potential difference between any segment, any portion is directly proportional to the length of the same portion, length of the same segment. So as per this, we find out epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2 is equal to KL1. We get it this? Okay. So after that, we have discussed the second important method, and this method is difference method. Okay, so second method is difference method. So I hope to understand why we call that is sum method, because their potential get added. And why their potential will be added? Because epsilon 1 and epsilon 2, that is there are two EMFs, they assist together. Okay, it is very important. Assist means what? They adding together. Electric current moving between cell E1 and E2 in same direction. It is very important. So after that, the second condition we are discuss here. Okay, the second condition, C, the main key will be closed by using difference method, and here the K1 and K3 will open, but here K4 and K2 will be closed. Okay, the opposite keys are closed. Now initially we are closed K1 and K3, okay, and K2 and K4 bit open in the sum method. But according to difference method, now K2 and K4 will be closed and K1 and K3 get open. So what happen when the K2 and K4 get closed? Let's see. When the main key will be closed, electric current passing through the circuit. So this electric current passing through the cell epsilon 1 from positive to negative. Let's see the condition. So this electric current is also moving from positive to negative, okay, through the cell epsilon 1. But what happen exactly after that passing? So this electric current moving reaches at this junction, but this electric current cannot passing here because this K1 will be opened. So it means that electric current passing through the key K4. Okay, they're directly moving here. So direction is exactly opposite here. And let's see this directly electric current overlap and moving from towards the cell epsilon 2, but they're moving from negative to positive. So it means that here the cell of EMF E2, so this is denoted by epsilon 2, so electric current moving from positive to negative. Okay, so let's see in the first case, electric current moving in same direction because epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 are assist together from positive to positive. Same condition will be here, but now according to the difference method, now their negative terminals are connected together, otherwise their positive terminals are connected together. What happened? The second condition is possible. There are positive terminals are connected together. Okay, this condition is also happen if they are positive or negative terminals. This negative terminal of cell epsilon 1 and the negative terminal of cell epsilon 2 are connected together. Otherwise the positive terminal of cell epsilon 1 and the positive terminal of cell of epsilon 2 are joined together. So it means that these two cells are opposed to each other. They are opposing. It means that their potential difference are subtract together. It is a difference between two potential difference, and this is denoted by epsilon 1 minus epsilon 2. So this method is called difference method. Let's see once again here. When the main key will be closed, electric current passing through the circuit, but electric current passing through the cell of EMF epsilon 1 from positive to negative, the current will be reaches here. They passing through the cell key K4 through the K4. They cannot moving here because K1 will be open, and after that they moving towards the cell epsilon 2, and they moving electric current from the cell epsilon 2 from negative to positive. So it means that these two cells of EMF epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 are opposed to each other. It means that their potential difference are subtracted together. So it means that we find out their potential epsilon 1 minus epsilon 2. And let's see when this current will be reaches here. After that this electric current moving through the key K2 because K2 is also closed, and directly electric current passing through the galvanometer. Again galvanometer shows the deflection, and when the galvanometer shows deflection, again jockey touches at different points on the wire AB, and when they connected from C dash, okay, when they connected from C dash, we having one another length, that is AC dash. This is denoted by L2. So as per the principle of potentiometer, we know that epsilon 1 minus epsilon 2, so this is equal to KL2. This is our equation number 2. Okay, so what is K? So K is the constant, that is potential gradient, and we know that what is potential gradient? So potential per unit length. So that's why we find out potential per unit length as per the principle of potentiometer. We find out the equation number 1 and equation number 2. When we adding when we dividing equation 1 and 2, so definitely we are compare the EMF of cells. Okay, so let's dividing equation 1 and 2. So what we get? Let's see here. So what is our equation number 1? So equation number 1 is epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2, and equation number 2 will be denoted by epsilon 1 minus epsilon 2. So this is equal to KL1 divided by KL2. So KK will be closed. It means that L1 divided by L2. So it is very important. Call equation number third. Okay. So let's we compare the EMF of two cells. E1 epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2 divided by epsilon 1 minus epsilon 2. This is equal to L1 upon L2. So this equation will be rewrite by using the componendo and dividendo method. So what is componendo and dividendo method? So these methods we are already discussed in 9th standard all. Okay. So let's see by using componendo and dividendo. So what is actual condition for this equation? So first of all, let's see here what is componendo and dividendo. So in this method for componendo and dividendo, it means simply this total numerator and this denominator both are adding for numerator, and they difference, they having some difference, they subtracted in denominator. It is very simple method, that is componendo and dividendo. So here numerator will be denoted by epsilon 1 and epsilon 2, that is plus. Okay, denominator will be denoted by epsilon 1 minus epsilon 2. This numerator and denominator both added in the numerator. Okay, so numerator and denominator subtracted for the denominator. So this condition, this method is called componendo and dividendo method. Let's see here. So what is numerator? So numerator is epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2, that is numerator, plus what is denominator? Epsilon 1 minus epsilon 2. So here numerator and denominator added, okay, in the numerator, and in denominator, so they are subtracted. So it means that epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2 minus, what is minus? So denominator epsilon 1, so minus minus get plus, that is epsilon 2. Okay, and what is equal to? So L1, what is numerator here? L1 plus denominator L2, so divided by numerator L1 minus L2. Now see here, it is very important. So which factors are cancelled here? Let's see here, epsilon E2 minus and this plus will be cancelled. Now here epsilon E1 and that is E2 plus or minus will be cancelled. So what is remaining? The remaining points are epsilon 1 plus epsilon 1, that is 2 epsilon 1 divided by epsilon 2 plus epsilon 2, that is 2 epsilon 2, and this is equal to what? L1 plus L2 divided by L1 minus L2. So 2 get cancelled here. So we find out epsilon 1 divided by epsilon 2, this is equal to L1 plus L2 whole divided by L1 minus L2. So by using this componendo and dividendo method, so simply when we know the balancing length, that is L1 and L2, so easily we are measuring with the help of meter scale, because we know that this meter scale is connected parallel through the potentiometer wire, and when we know the L1 and L2, simply we are compare the cells of EMF, that is epsilon 1 and epsilon 2. Okay, so this method is called sum and difference method. So by using this method we are compare the EMF of two cells. I hope to understand. This is very important method, that is sum and difference method. Initially we have discussed of potentiometer to find the internal resistance that is small r, to find the internal resistance of a cell. Okay, how to find out the internal resistance of a cell? So this is third use of potentiometer, that is very important. So let's how to find out the internal resistance of the given cell by using potentiometer. So we can draw the circuit. Let's see here the same construction for potentiometer wire. This is potentiometer wire, and this wire is divided into the number of segments, and we know that this segment each of length will be denoted by 100 centimeter. Okay, so this is potentiometer wire AB. Between the wire AB, so we are connected the cell, that is epsilon, the key, so this is denoted by K1, and we know that the rheostat are connected in series. Okay, the cell of epsilon, key and rheostat are connected in series. Okay, so one other circuit is connected through the terminal A. So how to connect it? Let's see here. Through the wire, so we are connected one another cell, that is epsilon 1, whose internal resistance small r, so it will be connected here, the key K2, so this point will be denoted by P. So this is the resistance box, this is denoted by R. So this is a complete circuit. This is denoted by P, Q, S and T, and whose common terminal will be connected to the galvanometer, whose resistance will be G, and their another end will be connected to the jockey, and this is denoted by J. Okay. So how to work and how to find out the internal resistance of cell? So it is very interesting property, that is use of potentiometer. So let's see the construction of the given circuit. So AB is the potentiometer wire, and between the wire AB we are connected the cell, that is epsilon, key K1 and the rheostat are connected in series. Now one another circuit, they having the cell of epsilon 1, whose internal resistance small r and resistance box R and key K2. So this circuit is connected between the terminal A and the galvanometer. Okay, and another end of galvanometer is connected to the jockey. So this is complete closed loop circuit, that is denoted by PQST. Okay, and with the help of this we find out the internal resistance of the given cell, that is epsilon 1. So how to work the given circuit? Let's see. They work mainly two ways. The first way we are discussing here. So in the first way, imagine that the first key K1 will be closed but K2 get open. In the first circuit, the key K1 is closed and K2 open. Okay, K1 is closed but K2 get open in the first case. So what happened when the key K1 will be closed? Now simply electric current passing through the given circuit, this electric current will be denoted by I. And when this electric current passing through the given circuit, so now let's see here, this electric current only passing through the cell epsilon 1, but this electric current cannot passing through the resistance. Okay, cannot passing through the resistance box. It means that electric current directly passing through the cell of epsilon E1 through the internal resistance R, and directly it show that they passing through the galvanometer. And if electric current passing through the galvanometer, we know that galvanometer shows deflection. And when the jockey touches near to the point A and B, we are observe the same. The deflection of galvanometer is exactly opposite. And when the jockey touches at different points between the wire AB, so simply at a given one point, that is point C, when the jockey touches at the point C, we are observe the same. Galvanometer does not shows any deflection. It means that we find out the null point. This point C is called the null point. So at this point, so the length of the wire AC will be denoted by small L1. Imagine that. Okay, so whose potential will be denoted by VAC. So VAC is the potential and the length of the portion will be denoted by L1. So as per the principle of potentiometer, so their potential will be denoted by here epsilon 1, because epsilon 1 is the cell, only electric current passing through the galvanometer through the cell of E1. Okay, it means epsilon E1. So that's why the total potential passing through the circuit through the cell epsilon 1. So it means that their potential will be denoted by epsilon 1. So this potential is directly proportional to the length of the same segment, and length of the segment will be denoted by L1. So it means that epsilon 1 is equal to KL1. So this is our equation number 1. So this is the first condition. for the given circuit, how to find out the internal resistance of the given cell. Let's see the second concept, second important concept. So how to find out the internal resistance of the given cell. So how they work, let's see here. Now after that, in the second condition, the key K1 and K2 both closed. Okay, both are closed. So what happened? Key K1 and K2 will be closed, both circuit will be closed. It means that electric current also passing through the cell epsilon 1 and the resistance box through the galvanometer right now. So what happened when the total resistance, total electric current passing through the complete circuit? So again galvanometer shows the deflection, and when the jockey again touches at the point, imagine that that is D, imagine that. Okay, so whose length will be denoted by AD? So AD is equal to L2. So again we are observed the null deflection point. So balancing condition of the network. Okay, so it means that as per the principle of potentiometer, so we find out their total potential is directly proportional to the length of the same segment, that is L2. But if electric current only passing through the cell epsilon 1, so their potential will be denoted by epsilon 1, but here electric current passing through the total circuit. Okay, so that's why their total potential will be denoted by V. Okay, the total potential through the circuit will be denoted by V, and V is directly proportional to the length will be denoted by L2. So it means that V is equal to KL2. So this is the second condition of the network. Okay, so K is the constant, that is potential gradient, you know that very well. So what is actual first condition and second condition? We are revise here. In the first case, so K1 will be closed but K2 get open in the first case. Okay, so what happened when the K2 will be open? Electric current only passing through the cell epsilon 1 right now, and galvanometer shows deflection. When the jockey touches at the point C, so we are observe the null point. Galvanometer does not shows any deflection. So it means that the length of the wire AC will be denoted by L1 and their potential will be denoted by epsilon 1. So this potential is directly proportional to the length as per the principle. So same condition we can write here. But after that, we are closed the key K1 and K2. Both keys are closed. And what happens when the both keys are closed? Electric current passing through the total circuit. And when the electric current passing through the total circuit, their total potential will be denoted by V. Okay, when the jockey touches at the point D, again we are observe the null point. It means that the length AD will be denoted by L2 and their total potential will be denoted by V. So as per principle, we find out the equation number 2, V is equal to KL2. Okay, so how to find out internal resistance? So dividing equation 1 by 2. When we dividing equation 1 by 2, so we get epsilon 1 divided by V. So this is equal to KL1 divided by KL2. So KK get cancelled here. It means that remaining L1 upon L2. So this is our third equation. So after that third equation, we find out the total value of potential epsilon 1 by using the Kirchhoff's second law, law of potential difference in the closed loop, that is PQSTP. In a closed loop, let's see here, in a closed loop, what is this? P, Q, S, T and again P. In the closed loop, PQSTP. So what is the law of potential? Kirchhoff's second law. So by using Kirchhoff's second law, law of potential, so we find out the value of epsilon 1 in a loop PQSTP. Let's see, this is the direction of tracing. Okay, this is the direction of tracing. So only we are discuss about this circuit, only this loop, and between this loop one cell will be connected, and you know that very well, electric current also passing through the positive towards the negative, positive to negative. Okay, it means that this is the direction of electric current through the circuit. Okay, between the loop PQSTP, and we know that the direction of tracing is exactly opposite to the electric current right now. But here the direction of tracing from the cell positive to negative, it means that the total potential of the cell will be negative. So this is denoted by negative epsilon 1. Okay, so after that, let's see here, this is the direction of electric current and the direction of tracing from P to Q. It means that the direction of tracing and the direction of electric current is exactly opposite. Their resistance will be denoted by small r and I be the electric current passing through the total circuit. It means that whose potential will be denoted by positive, let's see, because the direction of electric current and the direction of tracing is exactly opposite. So positive I be the electric current and the resistance will be denoted by R. So IR. So again we are reaches here from Q to S, and when we moving from S to T, so again one another resistance will be connected and the electric current will be passing through the circuit is denoted by I. So it means that their potential is again positive and this is denoted by IR. So there is no one another potential, so this is equal to 0. So this is the concept of Kirchhoff's second law of potential. And this totally operate with the help of sign convention, and you know that very well, sign convention. If the direction of tracing is exactly similar to the direction of electric current, so potential is negative, otherwise the potential is positive. So here direction of tracing and direction of electric current is exactly opposite, so potentials are positive. And what is the sign convention of cell? If we are tracing from positive to negative, so cell is negative. If we are tracing from negative to positive, so cell is positive. But here tracing positive to negative, so that's why cell will be negative. So it means that here minus epsilon 1 is equal to, so this plus IR and this plus IR get after that equal. So it means that it will be find out negative of this is IR and that is plus IR. Okay, so minus plus, that is minus. You get it? So after that, let's see here. This negative sign will be cancelled and we find out. So epsilon 1 is equal to IR plus IR. So this is equation number 4th. This is very important equation. So we find out the value of epsilon 1 and put this value of epsilon 1 from equation number 3. So this value is very important. So put this value from equation number 3. So what we get? What is epsilon 1? So epsilon 1 is equal to, let's see, epsilon 1 upon V is equal to, what is epsilon 1? Epsilon 1 is IR plus I into small r whole divided by V. But as per Ohm's law, we know that V is equal to what? IR. So it means that we can write here I into R. Okay. So whole is equal to, what is equal to? L1 upon L2. Okay. So it means this is equal to, remember that V is equal to IR. So this IR and this is IR. So I get common here. So when we get I common, so I into R plus small r divided by IR, and this is equal to L1 upon L2. So I get cancelled here. So it means that R, take the separate division, divided by R plus small r divided by R, this is equal to L1 upon L2. Okay. So RR get cancelled here. So it means that 1 plus small r divided by capital R, this is equal to L1 upon L2. So we find out the value of small r divided by capital R. So this is equal to L1 upon L2. This plus 1 take here, that is minus 1. And definitely we find out the small r. Small r is equal to, what we find out? Small r is equal to capital R into L1 L2 minus 1. So by using this equation, so easily we find out the internal resistance of the given cell by using the use of potentiometer. Okay, it is very important expression. So small r is equal to capital R into L1 upon L2 minus 1. Okay, actually L1 upon L2 we are measure with the help of meter scale, and I can forget this. Let's remember that in the second case, if K1 and K2 will be closed, okay, so after that take the suitable resistance from resistance box. Okay, and when we take the suitable resistance from resistance box, so we know that the value of R. Okay, and after that we find out their potential. Okay, so it is very important. I can forget this when we explain the same second condition. So when K1 and K2 both keys are closed, so then after electric current passing through the total circuit, and after that to find out to take the suitable resistance from the resistance box, okay, their suitable value, and after that jockey touches at different points and find out the null point. It is very important. So by using this expression, small r is equal to capital R into L1 upon L2 minus 1. So easily we find out the internal resistance of the cell. So there are three important uses of potentiometer. Sorry, there are only two uses of potentiometer. The first use to compare the EMF of two cell, and second to find out the internal resistance of the given cell. So these two important uses we are discussed according to this lecture. Okay, I hope to understand. This is very important concepts.